All right, welcome back to another live here in Michigan. Tonight we are talking about something really festive, I think, and I'm excited about it. So I'm here with my trusted co-host, Miss Sophia Cruz. What's going on, Sophia?
Hey, hi, everybody.
And I'm Eric Meldrum. We are the Living in Michigan team here with True Living Group. And, tonight we're going to be talking about some Christmas festivities in the D. There's a lot that goes on around Christmas time. We're going to talk a little bit about Christmas, a little bit about real estate. So if you're here for both, great. Let us know where you're coming to us from. Drop it in the comments below. We'd love to hear where you reside. And if you are considering making that move here to Michigan, we definitely got your back when doing so. So we're going to dive into it. Sophia's got some great information on some great places, here in Michigan around the holidays to go visit. If you are going to be, looking to, do some things around the holidays, if you want to get away from family and just go do your own thing, there's some perfect opportunities to do so, here in Michigan as well. So Sophia, let's dive right into it. I mean, you just got back from a trip that you were on, and this place is one of the most iconic holiday destinations here in Michigan. So what is that?
Yeah. So that would be Frankenmuth for those who have never heard of Frankenmuth. It's like a little Germany right here in Michigan. At least that's what I call it, little Germany.
Little Germany. Are they wearing the girdles?
Little Germany. They're dressed up and all that folklore wear, whatever it is that they put on.
There's a specific name for those. We'll call them uniforms, costumes to us.
Yeah.
That is their everyday attire back in the day. So they're definitely special. But Frankenbooth is an awesome place. So let's pull this
Yeah.
up because you guys got to check this place out. If you've never been to Frankenmuth, it is definitely worth seeing. So you just got back from there, like, walk us through if you were just giving somebody kind of a flyover on what they need to do when they go to Frankenmuth, because there's so much, right?
Yeah.
There's so much going on. Like, what are your favorite spots and what are your favorite things to do when you go there?
Yeah. So this is a tradition for us. We go every year. Frankenmuth is popular between October and December. So last year we went during like Oktoberfest, which it was cool. It was fun, right? You have all different kinds of beer. It's Oktoberfest. You go drinking, you have, good time dining and stuff like that. And then this year we went this weekend. So it's closer to Christmas time, right? Oh my God. It was like, it's so much cooler than in October, by the way. They had caroling on the streets. Like there was so many people there. Like, I feel like people flew in just to go to Frankenmuth this weekend. Honestly, like the restaurants were really booked.
Well, the weather was beautiful. The weather was beautiful.
Yeah, the weather was beautiful, which is probably why everybody was out there. But yeah, the restaurants were pretty booked because of how busy the town was this weekend. But if I had to choose right between October, where it wasn't that busy, to right now where it was, like now is the time to go. It was just so festive. Everybody was dressed up like in, reds and greens and Christmas colors, and they were doing their shopping. So that's what we like to do. We like to walk the central area, and I can't think of the name of it, Eric, but I want to say it's called like River Oaks Shopping, something like that. I don't know if it's on there, but there's a central area that's basically like a mall, but it's outside. And you can just walk and shop all those stores. We stopped for some beignets and coffee, which I love. In fact, I don't even know where to get beignets in Michigan other than Frankenmuth. So if anybody else knows where to get beignets, let me know.
Also, let us know. Sophia will be hunting those down. They're delicious.
They're so good. Some coffee. Yeah. I mean, there's souvenir stores. There's, stores that have Frankenmuth merch. There's stores that are all about Michigan. I got a couple of gifts from there. I mean, we just really like to take in the scene there. Like the scenery is so beautiful. They have a waterfall there. They have the covered bridge, which my daughter calls it the Beetlejuice Bridge. I don't know. Like, do you remember Beetlejuice in the beginning? They go under this covered bridge, and that's kind of where they crash. Yeah. So that's what the bridge looks like. She calls it She calls it the Beetlejuice bridge.
End up the way Beetlejuice ends up.
Yeah, no, yeah, she turned Christmas to Halloween, but yeah, so another good thing about Frankenmuth is that the fudge, right? So like if I'm talking to people that aren't from Michigan, right? Like we go up north to Mackinac Island because they have all the finest fudge shops and they're delicious, but we forget that Frankenmuth isn't that far and they also have amazing fudge shops. So we bought a ton of fudge. I probably have too much sugar in me right now.
It happens every single year. It doesn't matter where you're from, whether you're from
Yeah.
the South, East Coast, West Coast, every single state has their indulgence, and ours just so happens to be fudge here in Michigan. So, you can definitely get fudge anywhere you go. There's fudge shops popping up. A lot of them, from Mackinac, they started opening down here in Metro-Detroit, which I think is so cool because they're like, we have an untapped market. There's so many people that don't come up, to visit and see, like, why don't we just bring our fudge down to them? So it's become more and more popular, but you're absolutely right. Like ton of stuff to do at Frankenmuth as we're going through this, the restaurants. The big thing there is the chicken dinners. The chicken dinners are absolutely massive. Like it's when it says world famous here, world famous chicken dinner, they mean world famous. Like people
Yes.
come from all over the state, even other nearby states, to go to Frankenmuth. This is the largest Christmas store and town in the Midwest. Like
Yeah.
it is like you said, old Germantown. So it's really cool. It's just an experience. It's a whole vibe. When you go into Frankenmuth, they have shops, restaurants, cafes. They even have breweries and places where you can get some adult beverages as well. Sit and watch the game or just relax while mom and the kids go shopping, or vice versa, right? While dad and the kids, are taking a walk and doing something, need a little bit of time, because this place can be overwhelming. Right, you can get there and not do everything all at once, right? Or try to do everything and wipe yourself out, all at once.
Yeah. Yeah. And so let's talk about those chicken dinners for a minute, because that's actually that's what Antonio likes about Frankenmuth. He's like, let's go have some chicken in Frankenmuth. Like it's all about the food for him. But yeah, they have these family style dinners and oh my God, it's so much food. Like, so you order the family style, they bring you a whole plate of home style chicken. It looks like fried chicken, but it's not fried in grease. I think they bake it. Like it doesn't taste like grease at all. I think it's baked chicken, but fried. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then they give you like all these different sides that I'm guessing is it German food? Do you know, Eric? I don't even know. I keep calling it German. It might not be German.
Yep. Yeah. Bavarian.
Yeah. So they just give you a bunch of different sides, which are all delicious, but it's so much food and it's bottomless basically. Like you can reorder. If you run out of something on your table, you just ask for another plate of it. So you want another plate of chicken, they bring it. If you want more sides, they bring it. Like it's a ton of food. I could barely walk after.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a picture of I can't believe they don't have it on their website. Like that would be
it's down, it's below the photo. You see the little thumb ones. It looks like there's food there.
Yeah, but that's not a really good. Oh, let's see.
There you go. That one. The one with the plate in the middle. I'm like, I took better pictures.
That was all it said. Yeah, it looks like a third grader took these pictures.
Yeah. It pretty much looks like Thanksgiving dinner on your table. That's what it makes me think
because
of.
they're massive. So here, let me share
Yeah.
this. This is better.
Yeah.
So
they also bring you like bread in the beginning, and they bring you that like fruit and nut bread. I know it has a name, but I just call it the fruit and nut bread. But it's their traditional bread. It's delicious. It's like sweet, kind of sweet, but not. But yeah, so the chicken dinners, Frankenmuth is very famous for that. So you'll wanna eat while you're there. And during the busy season, so it was about an hour wait. And then some of the bigger families, we're talking about like 6+ people, they had about an hour and 45-minute wait. The
Oh
ones
yeah,
with
that's
really big.
that's a short wait, I think,
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of it. Like you got to get there, make reservations. I mean, if you're just popping in, for
Yeah.
dinner, if you don't want to be there until 10 o'clock at night, like get there early, because they do fill up, and they a lot of families make a big thing about it, right? Like we're meeting multiple people there if we're going to go out to eat, so it tends to be larger parties, right?
Mm.
6, 7, 8 to 10 people. So definitely, get there early and make reservations. There's a couple different restaurants too. So if you're going, there's the Bavarian Inn, which we're looking at right now, and then there's Zender's. Now, a little bit of a debate on which is the better restaurant. I heard a lot of people like Zender's, a lot of people like Bavarian Inn. So if you're watching here in Michigan and you've been to both of them, let us know what your favorite is in the comments. We'd love to know. So that is Frankenmuth. Definitely a ton of stuff to do, just like going there and trying to do everything at once. There's only so much things we can cover on this live. We're going to get to other topics, but you got tons of events. There's food, there's drinks. You can stay there, right? So there are hotels, places
Let
to
us not,
stay.
not forget the most important thing about, well, the most important place, which would be Bronner's, the Christmas store, right? Bronner's Christmas store, which is a ginormous warehouse of Christmas stuff, anything Christmas. And it was so busy there this weekend. We didn't even go into Bronner's this time around because the traffic coming in and out of there was like being on the freeway at rush hour. So
It's overwhelming. I mean, it is the largest Christmas store. I want to say in the whole entire United States.
I think so.
Don't quote me on that, but for someone like me, do not enjoy that store whatsoever. Right? I love Christmas. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Christmas. The look on my girls' faces when we even do something remotely festive, right? Like oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing. And I had that feeling when I was a kid, but that Christmas store, I have no business in there whatsoever. No business. Not going to buy anything. Um, the crowd makes me absolutely insane. So yeah, all set with Bronner's, but it's a great time for some people. Some people that
Yeah,
like that. Like if you're into Christmas and you love that stuff, you could have a field day in there. Just not this
yeah.
guy. 'Cause
We went in when we visited during Oktoberfest last year. We went into the Christmas store, and it was we had a good time enjoying it, but there wasn't a lot of people there, and it wasn't, you know what I mean. There wasn't. We were kind of in there. A few people were in there, and so it was quiet. I wouldn't want to go in there on a crazy day.
yeah, too
Yeah,
busy.
too
Well, this
busy.
is the big leagues of things, but if you're not going to make it up to Frankenmuth, which is a couple hours north of Metro Detroit, you can definitely. There's a ton of things to do in Ann Arbor and Metro Detroit area. So,
Mhm.
there's I want to go through some of these because our good friends out over at Visit Detroit, which is a great organization that has a lot of things covering the Detroit area here. They put this together, and these are spot on. Like some of these events are iconic here in Metro Detroit. So if you are going to be coming in, I'm just going to go through these. You got the holidays at the Eastern Market. So every weekend, this is the longest standing kind of farmers market in Metro Detroit, where a lot of the meats, vegetables, and things. A lot of businesses, still reside down there. And my cousin actually opened up a well, it was his wife's parents' business at the time, but Strauss and Bros, which is a seasoning and pasta sauce business. So it closed and then they reopened it. So we were just down there the other week visiting them at their new store, and it's absolutely beautiful. And Eastern Market has not changed. It's one of those places I would definitely recommend going because there's a lot of history in Detroit with the markets, definitely the meat markets and the fruit and vegetable markets down there. And then you have the Big Bright Light Show. So this is in downtown Rochester. So we talked about this on one of our previous lives.
Are you sharing
Um,
the screen? I don't see the screen.
oh my gosh.
I see the letter to Santa. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
So Eastern Market.
yeah,
Yes, this is what we were looking at. Eastern Market. Sorry,
yeah.
Sophia. And then you got the Big Bright Light Show over in Rochester. And this one always amazes me. Like they've been doing this for so long. Downtown Rochester looks absolutely amazing. You can see all the people, all the buildings hang Christmas lights, from the roof down to the floor. So every single building is covered head to toe in lights. And just driving down it looks like one of the most magical places. Like you can just drive through and it screams Christmas. Right. This is like, for me growing up as a kid here in Metro Detroit, like we used to go to my aunt's house every single year and she lived in Rochester. So of course we got to drive through this every single year because we had to drive through downtown to get to her house. And I just remember as a kid, like this was Christmas time to me when we got to go through downtown Rochester and see all these lights. There was no neighborhood, there was no house that could even compare to downtown Rochester. So I think it's really cool. We still take our girls, to go check this out every single year, and they absolutely love it. Like they want to get out and go run around and do all the fun stuff that's down there. They do have Santa that comes down there. They do have some other events that go on in downtown Rochester, but this is a must. Like if you're here in Metro Detroit during the holidays, definitely take a drive over to Rochester, the downtown area, and check this out because this one is really cool. And then you got Blake's Winter Wonderland in Armada. And this is Blake's Orchard. So they have cider mills, but every single season they have something going on. So, in the winter time, they turn this into Winter Wonderland, here at Blake's. So they have ice skating. They got heated igloos, for you to grab some hot cocoa or some adult beverages. They do have a bar, and then they also have their line of hard ciders there as well.
They have boozy drinks.
Oh yeah, you got them around the holidays. Like you got to go for it. Just go for it. Yeah, but this is a cool one. And then they do have a cut your own Christmas tree. They did start a 100-acre farm a while ago, and you can go there, cut your own Christmas tree. You can go ice skating. I mean, you can make a day of it if you really wanted to. Grab your tree, have some fun with the kids, go grab some dinner, head home, put that tree up.
Yeah, that's cool. That you can cut your own tree.
Yeah, that's a good one. Did you ever cut your own tree as a kid?
No.
My dad. So my dad took us out, and I think I was like 5. We did it when I was really young. So I was like 5, 6, 7 or 8, like up until I was kind of getting into teenage years. We always cut our own tree. And I remember going out, we took a saw, like literally loaded us up in the van. We drove out, and I think it was a place kind of out by Armada. I don't remember the exact farm, but it was out there. Like we drove a good solid hour from our house, and we got out, and sometimes it snowed, sometimes there was no snow on the ground. And I just remember like getting all bundled up, trekking through the snow, and we had to go find our own tree. I mean, it was like a hunt. Like you looked at all the trees in the farm, and you're like, how do you pick? Like what is the criteria for picking a good tree? Over the years, I learned there is a criteria for picking a good tree. You want something that's actually kind of full. You want something that, looks in really good condition. You don't have a bunch of bald spots, around there. And then it had that tree shape. Some of the trees, they're just like balls. They weren't even like shaped like Christmas trees, like we know it. So that was pretty fun. I mean, we did that, for a number of years growing up. Still good memories, but we've never done that with our girls. I've not taken them out to cut their own Christmas tree. I guess I'm getting lazy in my.
Now you have to.
Now I have to.
With the tamales, like I told you about before the live. We were talking about Christmas traditions, and I was telling him how ours was always making tamales. Like all the women would get in the kitchen and make tamales. But it's died since then, because now they just go buy the tamales.
I guarantee it's cheaper to just go buy them than it is to actually buy all the individual ingredients.
In this economy, I believe you. Yeah. Absolutely right.
The restaurant probably gets a better deal on the bulk supplies.
For sure. Yeah.
But then you don't have the experience, just like the Christmas tree.
That's what I'm saying. Then we're missing the tradition, right? So, that's okay. Yeah. Now we go to Frankenmuth. That's our new tradition.
Those are fun traditions. Start new ones. That's what we do. We start new ones. Yeah. So yeah, you got Blake's. And then you also have the Canterbury Village Holiday Stroll, which is in Lake Orion. Yeah, so this one is a winter wonderland that you can stroll through. It's a historic village. They got 1 million festive holiday lights. That's a lot of lights. 1 million lights. And then all the kid favorite, like Buddy the Elf's going to be there. So who doesn't want to go see Buddy the Elf? I think we
Mhm.
watched Elf more this year than we ever have in past years. That's my kid's favorite movie, hands down. Like they love Elf, and it's been on since I think mid-November.
What-
They've probably watched it at least 15, 20 times already.
Everybody loves Will Ferrell.
I mean, I'm not lying. That's a great movie. Like I still crack up to that movie all the time. It's a good one. And then you got the Edsel and Eleanor Ford House. This one is actually really cool. So this is in, around the holidays, they decorate it out, and the Ford family owns a ton of real estate. So this one is actually really beautiful. They have visits with Santa and cookies for Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And here's some dates that it's happening as well. So still got tomorrow and the 17th are last days for Santa. All right. And then you got Wayne County Light Fest. So as you can see, like there's a ton of things to do, in Detroit. This one is off of Merriam, and you got to pay to get in. Okay. So $5 for a car, $20 for commercial vehicles, and you drive through this whole entire maze of lights.
Okay. One of the drive-through things.
Yeah. We did this out at DTE, and they had something very similar. So this one, it was actually kind of cool. Like they made you turn, they had a radio station on AM that you could tune to, and they played Christmas music as you're going through it. So it was kind of an experience as the light show with the music and everything. It was really fun. The girls liked it.
Yeah. That's fun.
So just more trails, more Winterfest. And I wanted to get to this one because this one is really cool. If you're trying to pick between all of these, let me just simplify it. You got downtown. We talked about a little bit of downtown, but Campus Martius for the tree lighting. That's a staple. Get out to Blake's Orchard, get out to Rochester, look at the lights. But the Detroit Zoo wild lights, absolutely one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. Okay. So this is the Detroit Zoo where all the animals are, and you can go, year round. But in the wintertime, they turn the whole entire park into a light show. Right. And they have not just lights, but they have other activities. They even started doing like some 4D stuff last year where you go in and it's this huge screen and you have this whole experience. And I could only take like 2 minutes of it because I got super lightheaded and dizzy because I just don't do well in that with my the heck's it called? I can't remember.
Like epilepsy?
Not epilepsy. No, not epilepsy. Anyways, I get off balance is what it is.
Vertigo.
I get off balance. Yes, vertigo. Thank you.
Okay.
I not even think of that. Vertigo. My vertigo just was not having it, when we were in there. So I had to step out. But this is really cool. Like if you get a chance to do this, I'd highly recommend it because kids love it, and even for adults, it's super fun.
I was gonna say, so actually I was looking for things to do, and I realized I've never been to Wild Lights at the zoo. I've never actually been to it. So I'm gonna go probably this upcoming week. So I'm assuming you've been, right? Because you said you have.
Yep.
Do they have like warming stations out there? How does that work?
Yeah, there are warming stations, so you can actually go in the same places that you would go normally, like use the restrooms or grab some food while you're at the zoo. Those are the warming stations. So those are still open year round. So you can go in, they're serving hot cocoa. They even have hot cocoa stations kind of scattered throughout, as you walk through. And you never in a trail or in something that like you can't get to something super quick. It's all super close.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
so that's a good one.
Yeah.
So those are really kind of the major upcoming this weekend. The Visit Detroit also comes out with things to do, just in the month of December as well. And some of these are going to be on here, but you also have the Monroe Street Midway, and
Yes.
you're going to record some content there this
Yes.
week, right?
Yeah, actually tomorrow. Yeah. So, and I don't know I think they have, I sent you a link for like, what they have in the park, but they transform it for wintertime. And I wasn't, I didn't know what the new additions were or anything. So on that link, if you want to pull it up, it'll help us out a little bit, but I know that they have like hot cocoa out there. They have bumper cars. They have, what is it? Is it called pucking or what do they call that? I don't know what it's called.
Let me pull it up. Hold on.
Yeah. But
Curling? Talking about curling?
no, let's see, go down a little bit. There we go. So
Bumper cars.
bumper car. There you go. The
Oh,
puck.
putt putt. Oh, putt putt with a hockey stick. It's a really Canadian putt putt.
And then at the very top there was the Arctic slide. So, and by the way, so the reason I'm recording content here, Eric, is because I'm featuring the best free thing to do in our city this week. And this one stands out because it doesn't cost anything. You can take the kids there. Grab a friend, grab a girlfriend, go down there with your kids, grab a hot chocolate, sit down, and let those kids run amok, like and have a good time. But yeah, so Arctic slide, that looks super fun. You have to sign a waiver for that, as you can see.
I saw that waiver. I'm like, holy crap! Like we're getting serious with the waiver.
The waivers scare you, Eric?
Well,
You
it just means that it's a little bit fun, and it probably a little bit steep. Well, so there's probably a backstory here. And have you seen the slides at Belle Isle that they
Yes.
took out?
Yeah.
All right. So for those of you watching who don't know this or haven't seen this, our fine people of Michigan decided that it was a good idea to put a slide, kind of one of those wavy slides, on Belle Isle. And now I'm not going to give them too hard of a time because I'm pretty sure it was probably a company or somebody who designed the slide, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea. It's going to bring some attraction down." Well, holy smokes! Like, just go Google Belle Isle slide, and you will see the mayhem that occurred when people started going down this. Like, you went super fast, and I think they put you in like a beanbag when you were
Yeah.
going down. Like, they put you in a beanbag, and this thing was so slick that the first wave, people were just like flying right off of it and then
Yeah.
slamming down onto the second wave. I mean, lawsuit waiting to happen. So it doesn't surprise me that if you have a slide in Michigan, you're now signing a waiver. Like, anybody who has a
It
slide
made us
is
go
now signing a waiver.
viral. Yeah, we went viral with that slide.
Yeah, that was I mean, I was laughing, but I felt really bad for a lot of the people because that had to hurt.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, you felt bad the first few times you seen it, and then they made all these remixes and added sounds to it that you just couldn't help but laugh.
Yes. Yeah, you can't help but laugh when you see somebody getting hurt, and it's kind of funny. I mean, you can't help but laugh.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
yes.
this is cool. So you got the slide, but you're gonna sign a waiver for it because it's probably gonna be intense.
Yeah.
You got bumper cars.
Yeah. I'm gonna get on those, by the way. I love bumper cars, so I'll be on
All
those.
all on ice too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, yeah, it's ice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a little arcade thing there going on.
I dig it. And then we got puck putt.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, putt putt on ice.
All
And then
right.
you got the Midway Art Experience.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, there's no cost to go to the Monroe Midway, so that's the coolest thing about it for me. And you can still walk around the city too, like once you're done in here. So, it's also near the shops. I was going to say, what do they call those shops? I always forget the name. It's something Lodge. Do you know?
The one I'm not sure what they're called.
I think they're called the Cadillac Lodge. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. I probably am wrong. But there's Christmas shopping downtown near this area too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you got that, and then this might be the one you're talking about, the winter markets.
I'll put it up because we don't see it. There we go. Yeah.
The one off of Cadillac Square.
There you go. Okay. See how my brains put the thing together? I'm like, Cadillac Lodge, it's there, it's somewhere.
Well, there's so much there's so much new stuff,
Yeah.
popping up all the time. Like, keeping this is a full-time job for Sophia, our Detroit expert, to keep up on all of the new things that are happening in Detroit. And it's a full-time job in addition to servicing, all of you fine folks that are moving to Michigan. We got to keep tabs on all that stuff. So no,
Right.
this is fun.
Yes. And Detroit has been changing a lot over the years. And I like to say it's coming up. That's what I call it. Coming up.
It's on the come up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. So lots to do in the D, here in Michigan during the holidays. One more thing.
Yeah. One more thing. Don't forget that on Sundays, you do park free in the city of downtown Detroit. So that's the day I like to go do a lot of the things, right? Because you don't got to park. You got to pay for parking anyways.
That is free parking in Detroit and free parking in Ann Arbor, for those of you wondering.
Nice.
Sunday free parking in both. So all of the parking garages, everything's open. Street parking garages, all free.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So lots going on. So if you're here thinking about real estate as well, I want to switch gears here for a minute, because some exciting news in real estate is the mortgage rates are starting to get back to, kind of a reasonable level. And this is great news for a lot of, home buyers that have been sitting on the sidelines kind of waiting for something like this to happen, and although this is like really, really exciting, and we've been getting, multiple calls, a day, like, hey, we were seeing rates go down. What do you think is going to happen? Right. So we start having these discussions, around the market and trying to really understand how are the rates going to affect the forthcoming market, after the holidays. This is typically our seasonality where we're seeing a little bit of, pullback from people, and not too many people want to move around the holidays. Understandably, a lot going on, right? We have a lot going on in our house. You got a lot going on in your house. Most people, unless you have to, don't necessarily want to move around the holidays. But January 1 always rolls around. Well, actually January 2, once people, get a little bit more energy, January 2 rolls around and things really start heating up again, right? We start to see a lot more activity in the market. We start to see a lot more listings come to market, a lot more pendings, people making some decisions, over those a couple days. And this mortgage drop, for me, and I want to get, into this, is there's a couple of things that are going to happen, right? And I really want to stress this for anybody that's considering buying, coming into 2024. This is arguably one of the best times to start making decisions on your plans for moving in 2024. Okay. So usually it takes about a month or so, for people to start thinking about, like, okay, where do we want to live? We just had a couple calls this week, people coming into town and they're between different cities. And I said, well, go check these out and start making your plans to figure out where you're going to land location wise or school district wise, for you and the family. But make sure you do that before you start looking at homes, because you're going to start seeing homes that you like. And if you're not ready to purchase right now, it may not be a good time. And this goes into the interest rates as well. We're going to see a little bit of a dip, but the sooner you can land on the location and, figure out what your needs are from a home perspective, the quicker you are going to be able to make a decision. Because here's what's going to happen. And this is the biggest thing that I think a lot of people just are not privy to, in the market, as we see interest rates come down, which is good news for a lot of buyers, right? Affordability becomes a little bit more attainable. Your money starts to go a little bit further, the lower the interest rates go. But what is going to happen when the rates get below a certain point, and I would argue that's going to happen in Q1 of 2024, we're going to start seeing a lot more buyers enter the market. Okay. So if you thought 2020 and 2021 was, a year that was crazy in real estate, I'll just go out on a limb and like it was crazy for us too, right? We've never seen anything like it in the real estate market. It was absolutely insane. Multiple offers, appraisal guarantees, waived inspections. That was wild, wild west. 100%. Yeah. And as interest rates come down, even though this is good news, this is a sign that we're going to start seeing a little bit more of the remnants of 2020, 2021, where the competition was a little bit steeper, right? Over asking, appraisal guarantees, they are coming back. Okay. And this isn't a prediction. This is what I'm already seeing in the market, right? We've already been writing offers on homes, here in the Metro-Detroit, Ann Arbor area, and we're starting to see it already. It's been happening. Ann Arbor has been one market that it's never stopped. All right. There's been multiple offers on most homes in the area. The other areas in Metro Detroit, the popular areas, Northville, Plymouth, Rochester, Birmingham, Royal Oak, same thing. Those areas are still in high demand, and there's been low inventory, and homes are going for at ask or over ask still to this day. And then we're going to bring more people into the market, and we're going to start seeing a lot more competition. So, this is kind of the wake up call, coming into the holiday season while everyone's sitting on the sidelines, kind of eating Christmas dinner and opening presents. This is the time to start getting serious, because if you do want to avoid, some of the craziness coming in 2024, again, if you're ready, right? If you're ready to move, this makes sense. I'm never going to tell anybody just to move, just to move. But if you do have a move coming up in 2024, I would encourage you to start considering what that time frame looks like right now, so you can get an early jump on it. And this might be a really good time to make that move before craziness, breaks loose in 2024. So I wanted to cover that, because this has been making headlines on most channels of experts that I watch, and it is one of those things that's great for consumers right now, but as prices go up, this becomes less relevant. All right, so it's kind of the flip side of this. So, we're working with you guys, our mortgage lenders. If you do have questions about this, if you are considering a move, definitely reach out to us. It starts with a conversation of getting your ducks in a row, understanding the financing, understanding where you're moving to. And Sophia and I are absolutely ready for those conversations with you guys, when the time is right. We sit down just like this over Zoom, and we're going through the market. We're going through what your needs are, and we're ultimately helping you find that lifestyle that you're going for here in Michigan, but also make some good, solid decisions on price point, given the areas that you're looking in, right? Trying to match up with the ideal lifestyle and your budget. So if that's important to you, we're taking Zoom calls all the way up until Christmas Day. Not on Christmas Day. I'll be with the family on Christmas Day, but all the way up until Christmas Day. And then we'll be back at it, into the new year, and, continuing that for 2024.
Yeah.
So
that goes for both buyers and sellers too, like especially for like the sellers out there. If you're thinking about, because sometimes like I've had conversations with people and they're like, yeah, I'm thinking of selling come summer, or that's usually what the line is, right? And it's like, well, we still have to have a conversation. There's a lot that goes into putting a house up for sale from us and from the seller, right? So like, now's a good time to have that conversation with us for if there's some things that you need to do to your property or stuff to check off a list that you need to do. You have time to do that over the winter months. So essentially you're giving yourself a little bit of a head start.
Yep, I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's really important to really take a look at those things and figure out what makes the most sense for you, because when we look at new home sales, and let's kind of just look at this from the 70s. You start seeing new home sales, peak right here in 2005. We all know what happened here, right? But they never got back to those levels. All right, we got a big push in 2020. A lot of people moved in 2020, but they just never got back to those levels. So we do have a lower inventory, coming into this year. I would say record low, for the last 30 years. There's a lot of pent up demand, on the sideline right now. So let's take a look at what this looks like from new home sales versus existing home sales. So this is comparing new construction to existing homes. All right. So we started seeing this dip. All right. This is in 2020. All right. This dip is when the real estate market shut down. Okay, so there was no existing home sales, not even any new construction, but they just haven't been building, that many homes, to keep up with the amount of homes that we need. Right. So we start seeing a lot more, homes being consumed, and we just really need to get back to that level. Let's see if it goes back any further. 2013. I don't think we can go back any further here. Oh, here we go. Yeah, back in the 80s. There we go. So back in the 70s and 80s, they were building, close to 1 million homes a year, about 800, 700. Had a peak there. That was the boom, and we just slowly climbing up here, but we've been at a deficit for a long time, on new home sales. So, again, we wanted to share this information with you guys, because obviously there's a lot of questions that we're getting, on a regular basis about what the market holds in 2024. And just know we're here as a resource. We're not here to sell you on anything. We're not here to, tell you it's a good time for you versus a bad time for you. It's whatever makes sense, right? And ultimately, those are decisions that you guys can make with the information at hand that we're looking at. So we like to go deep into the data, understand what your goals are, and if now makes sense, absolutely. Right. There's still transactions happening every single day. And we'd be happy to help you kind of work through what makes the most sense for you. So with that, Sophia, I think we'll wrap tonight up. Did you have any final words for everybody?
No. I'm like, no.
Sophia loves when I put her on the spot, by the way, if you guys couldn't tell.
I'm just gonna start putting him back on the spot. I was like, no.
Do it.
No, I don't have anything for today.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate everyone tuning in. Again, if you do have questions about the market here in Michigan, Southeast Michigan, Ann Arbor, Metro-Detroit, definitely get a hold of us. We are the best resource for you. And if you are looking for things to do in the D around Christmas time, go back. If you didn't watch this video from the very beginning, go back. We covered it, and you can check out some of the other lives that we've done, covering a lot more in-depth things about the cities, around Metro-Detroit, Ann Arbor. We got videos on Dexter, Saline, Ann Arbor, Brighton, Howell, Northville, Plymouth, Rochester, you name it. We got videos that if you're looking to move to any of those cities, we got vlog tours and cost of living videos, pros and cons, which would be really helpful. And Sophia does have one more thing.
I do. I have one more thing. I just thought of it. If you're watching, if you're someone who has moved to Michigan from another state, from somewhere else, and if you're watching, if you can tell us, like, what are some things you wish you knew before you moved to Michigan, that would help us out a lot, like when we're bringing you guys these lives, because that's, it's what we want to bring to this too. Like, for everyone out there watching who doesn't know about Michigan, who hasn't lived in Michigan, who doesn't know what it's like to live here all year round, we want to let them know. We want to paint that picture for them of what life is like in Michigan. So if you've moved here from somewhere else, if there's something that you wish you would have known, and you can tell us in the comments or send us a message, we'd appreciate it.
And no, it is not the Arctic thunder in here in Michigan in the winter. No, we've gotten that before. Like, oh, the winters are unbearable. Like, it's like, the North Pole, in Michigan. No.
Untrue. Untrue. We still get out and live life. You have to, because for one, if you have that mindset where it's cold and you're not going to go outside, you will become a very depressed person here very quickly. That's number one.
Yeah. If you want that, move to Norway.
Yeah. No, we still get out here. We still do life. I had someone one time in Mexico ask me, "What do you do during the? Do you still sell houses during the winter? Like, what do you guys do? Like, do you guys still work?" No, we shut everything down and we all stay home for a few months.
Yep, we just get all our firewood, put it in the fireplace, and then we stay warm all winter long.
What I love to say about Michigan to people from that aren't from here, I like to defend the cold. Like, I like the cold. First of all, the cold. Hello, we're in the cold plunges right now. Like, that's all the rave, right? The cold plunges. Yeah, because it's good for your skin. It tightens your skin. It's good for your immune system. It has like all these health benefits. So imagine living somewhere that's like freezing cold every day. You're getting a free facial every time you go outside. Okay.
She's not wrong. I mean, there's a lot of validity to everything she just said.
Exactly.
You can get outside, and there's a guy I follow. He's actually in Canada, and he takes a cold plunge every single day, and he wears a Detroit Lions hat. So I always thought he was from Detroit this whole entire time. Like, I think that's probably I started following him. Then I'm like, oh, he's Canadian? Like, yeah, same thing. Doesn't matter. But yeah, he's doing cold plunges in the dead of winter. Like, it's outside. He's still going outside, getting all of the cold air, and then getting into cold water. That is absolutely insane. But it's got a lot of health benefits. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, it does. So, living out here, it's like a cold plunge every day during the winter. That's another thing we don't bring up a lot on the lives, Eric, is how close we are to Canada. Like, I don't, they're our neighbors.
Yeah.
So if you're living in Metro Detroit, like if you reach downtown Detroit area, the bridge is literally like 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and they got the new Gordie Howe Bridge going up. You can get over to Canada super quick. That should be done next year, I think. Yeah. So that's coming up. And you can take the tunnel.
One of the things that every person who lives in Michigan has to do is go to the Secretary of State and get the enhanced license with the little American flag on it. So you can just come back and forth to Canada without any issues. Like, it's just quick.
Yeah.
So
you don't have to get a passport. So what they did in Michigan was, since Canada's so close, you got 2 entry points. You got the one here in Detroit, and then you got one up, north of Port Huron. That one's, great too. So, wherever you're going, you don't need a passport to necessarily cross over into Canada. You can now have an enhanced license, which basically gives you the right to go back and forth as well without getting a full-blown passport. So it's something really cool, because we do have a lot of people who, in the automotive industry, live in Canada, work in Detroit, or vice versa. A lot of people that live in Michigan and work in Canada, for that as well. So they made that super easy for a lot of the employees and companies who are cross-border to have that transition, to just open up the workforce, which is nice.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool about Michigan. I don't ever think of it much until like right now. It's like, it's really cool. We can just go into another country if we want to, just head on down and walk over.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think I can count on the number of toes and fingers how many times I've been to Canada. It's more than 20.
Yeah, me too.
And I want to say more than 20 when I was 19 years old. So the legal drinking age in Canada is 19 years old. So if that tells you anything about my past and history,
I don't believe
as a youngin'. Yes. And then we went to Toronto. We drove in the winter to Toronto just to go there to get fake IDs.
Oh my goodness. That's too much. You're doing too much.
Yeah, I know. We're too much.
Yeah.
All right, but you're not here to listen about my past.
No, we might be.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more. Just let me know in the comments what you want to know. I'm an open book. I will share everything. All my trips to Canada, all my trips to Toronto, everything. We've been to the Netherlands. We've been to China. We've been to Belgium, the United Kingdom, Hong Kong. Where else? Italy. I've been all over the place.
More about Belgium.
They got good waffles. The Belgian waffle.
Something not everyone knows.
That is a story for another day. That was
Yeah.
that was fun. I did a study abroad, in Europe, so a lot of fun. But all right, guys, let's get out of here. We're gonna shut down. The kids are ready for bed, so we're gonna go put them to sleep. And again, if you do have questions about moving here to Michigan, definitely give us a call. We'd be happy to chat with you. And until next time, go out and have an awesome day. We'll see you guys.
See ya.